Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you can see in this video, we are looking at a trampoline by BCAN. You know what though? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. Are you ready to unbox this BCAN 48-inch bungee trampoline? It has a retail price of right around $140 and it comes in a variety of colors. But get this, the biggest selling point for me is the weight limit between 450 and 550 pounds can be supported. That's pretty impressive. I am a little nervous because this box is small, so let's open this up and start the assembly. After getting everything unboxed, the first thing you do is make sure you have all of your parts. There's nothing more frustrating than getting into a project and not having everything there. It does come with 13 bungee cords pre-installed, and if you're going to have to do another 27 or put another 27 on, there are a couple there for replacement pieces. So let's get started. We're first going to start right here with our frame and mat set. Let's do that now. This first step may be a bit difficult to do on your own, so if you need help, make sure you do that. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna open this up, and you can see how the opening or the mid part of the trampoline is away from me. Then I'm gonna start to pull this up. I do wanna put my knees on here and really push this into place. There, now I'm locked into place. Let's move on to the next step. We can see on our hinge point, there's a little tiny hole, which is gonna accept a cotter pin, or they call it a secure pin. So what we wanna do is we wanna slide this pin all the way through and then clip it down. That way it's gonna hold that piece in place and it can't refold back. There's one on this side and one on the other side. Put those both in now. You know you're good to go when your locked in pin. It looks just like this. It's tightened on both sides, and now our trampoline will not fold back in half. It is important to note that this trampoline is meant to be compact or portable. However, in order to do that, you're gonna have to remove about half of the bungee cords that we're right about to put on, because otherwise you won't be able to fold it up together. So just so you're aware, if you wanna make this compact and fold it up after each use, you're going to have to take off at least half of the bungee cords. Now, we're actually gonna get into that process, and I thought this was gonna be a real cumbersome challenge, but it's actually pretty easy. Let's get to it. I'm gonna try to make this as simple to see as possible. So what I did is I grabbed one of the bungee cords. I'm just gonna stick it around this loop. You just pull it up and hook it into this bungee hold. See how that's tied in there? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the other end of the bungee and stick it onto that side of the pole. Now they have this cool little device. You take the little device, put it through the bungee, hook the other end on that clip, and just bring it over. And look, we put our first bungee on. Do you want to see that again? Let's turn it to another open spot. Put on our bungee cord here. Put the bungee cord underneath the pole, loop around, and there you go. It takes all about 2 seconds to put on these bungees. I'm gonna go around now and finish the rest. Although tedious, it took less than 5 minutes to get all of our bungee cords on, and as the directions told us, we had 2 left over. Our next step is actually to install the legs onto our trampoline. Let's do that now. Installing the legs is actually easier than installing the bungees. There are these little caps that are all the way around. You can just really unscrew them right off, because these are just protecting the threading where you hook the legs onto. And then you just take the leg, you put it on, and start tightening it down. Remember, righty-tighty. The directions tell us to make sure we tighten this down. See, I have a little play in this. That is not what you want. You want to make sure that's all the way tightened down so it does not move at all. Get it all the way in there, and now it doesn't move. Do that same thing with all 8 legs. I have come across this scenario from time to time where the bungee cord is right up against the threads to where I have to screw down the legs. So what I end up doing is I just bring it onto this side and maneuver the bungee cord over to give me enough space, and therefore I put the leg on right in between the 2 bungees. No interference there. In a little less than 10 minutes of work, we have almost a fully functioning trampoline. And yes, we still have to put the handrails on. We're gonna do that in just a minute, but I wanna show you what we're gonna do first, and then I'm actually gonna jump on it. There's this bungee cover that goes all the way around, and so what you wanna do is you're actually gonna take this little attached cabling or cord, it's just like a stretchy cord, and hook it right onto where you put your bungee cord. Therefore, this thing's gonna be held down in place nice and tight and just protecting you and protecting your bungees. Do that all the way around. For those of you that were wondering, this trampoline sits 12 inches off the ground, and yes, it can be used with the included handrails, or you could use it without. And guess what? It is pretty fun. Our final step in the installation process is actually to put on the handrail. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick one leg. I'm gonna use this leg right here, and then we're gonna put the first post on. Then we're gonna skip a leg and use the very next one to put the second post on. Before we actually put the bottom part of the rail on, I'm gonna put on these little tie down pieces right here and screw them right in. That way they're already there when we're ready to screw this in tight. We don't have to wrestle with it underneath the trampoline. What we do here is we just lift up one end of the trampoline, pop off the foot. I'm gonna lift this up high enough to put this piece in just like that, slide it down, make sure the foot goes back in, and that's the first step to getting this piece in. We're not gonna tighten this down just yet. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put the other arm piece on. Remember, we're skipping one leg and going to the next one to put the other arm piece on. Let's do that now. Next step, we're actually gonna install the rails together. We're gonna do that first. When they meet right here, there's gonna be a little tiny hole spot. That's where you put one of these tightening down screws into. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of this trampoline? Something you're interested in? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Now that we have everything loosely tightened together, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna assemble the handrail into the receiving parts that we already installed. We're gonna get that to go down. Now we're gonna take our last two tightening down bolts to put them in the side. As you're doing this, it's important to align the holes on the arm rail here to the support down here at the bottom. So I just had to turn this bottom piece over. Now that I have this locked into place, I'm actually gonna tighten down the bottom parts underneath the trampoline so this will stay here all the time. Just in case you're wondering how low I had the support for the arm rail, I actually went down all the way to the floor. There is a cap on that piece, and so it just matches the same as the foot, so it just goes all the way down to the ground. Therefore, it adds an extra stability. That's just what I did for me. Now your trampoline is assembled and ready to be used. I will say one last thing you should do is make sure you tighten down all of your bolts all the way around just to make sure this thing is extra secure and tight. I should note that this handle does have foam wrapping around it. It doesn't feel like it's the highest quality, but I do appreciate that it's there. Now this is an adjustable handle. I have it here at the highest height. So from the top of the trampoline to right about the middle, it's 36 inches. Now there are these different screw spots where you can adjust. They're 3 inches apart. So that means the lowest you can go is 27 inches, then to 30, then to 33, and then to 36 inches, which is what we have here. I suppose you could adjust the base down here to raise it if you need to go higher. I just wouldn't recommend that because I think having this onto the ground actually provides extra stability and support. So my recommendation would not be to raise this base and just to keep it at the highest if that's what you need. In this video, we've been taking a look at this sweet trampoline. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. I've seen it range anywhere from right around $110 all the way up to $180. And so if you catch it on sale, you can really get a good deal. I appreciate how quick it was to assemble. It took me about 10 minutes and that included the arm rail. One of my favorite things is this is fun for the whole family. You can see that my son gets a lot of good use out of it as well. Plus it's really great exercise. I do appreciate the increased weight limit because if you need to exercise, some of those other trampolines don't necessarily carry people of all sizes. Anyway, that was my full review of this trampoline. If it's something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by and I hope you have a great day. It's also important to know how to remove the bungee cord. So what you would do is you just take this little tool, you put it on here, you're gonna wrap underneath. You wanna do this away from you because you're just gonna pull that out and away. And now you can just take it off. It's actually really easy with this tool. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of this trampoline. This is not the first workout gear that I've actually reviewed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post a link right up here of a walking treadmill or a walking pad. I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you at that review. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.